kids. Welcome to the Ellington one-room schoolhouse. I'm your host, Mr. Spada, and boy, do we have an amazing show for you today. In fact, parents, this show is so full that we encourage you to break this up and use it as a learning tool throughout the week. What's that music? Where's that music coming from? Wait a minute, guess who I just found? It's Mr. Hendrickson.
Hey everybody, I hope everyone's having a wonderful week, and thanks for joining us for episode 2 of our one-room schoolhouse. So much to talk about today. Before we get into what you're going to learn about today, just want to let everyone know who's watching out there that we've included a parent guide for today's episode. There'll be questions to ask and activities to do that directly connect to what we're learning about. So parents, keep your eye out for the parent guide. Now, as for what we're going to learn about, super exciting stuff. And I brought out the trumpet today because next week we're going to get some music involved. Keep your eye out for that. So for today, what are we going to learn about? We're going to make wind detection device out of everyday objects. It's a STEM activity. That's science, technology, engineering, and math combined. We're also going to learn about digraphs like TH, CH, and SH. Those are tricky. We're going to also an activity that combines exercise and counting. And for our tech tip today, we're going to learn about ways to watch how much screen time you're using each day. We've got a mystery reader who's going to read a hilarious story, and we're going to learn how to use different units to measure the same thing. Mrs. Murphy is also going to help us work on our balance, and then in a fun Toy Story game, we're going to read a story that teaches us no matter how far apart we are, we're always connected. And then we're going to combine ancient African folk tales with a really fun art project. Finally, at the end of this show, we're also going to be asking for feedback. We're always looking to improve this show. Our goal is to help students and families at home keep the learning going. So we appreciate the feedback, and we actually used some of the feedback that we got last week to create the content of today's show.
Wow, it sounds like we are going to learn a whole lot today. So let's get right into our first lesson, which is about STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Now take a second and look around your house. Can you find any problems that your creative mind can think of a solution for? Well, in today's STEM lesson, we're going to learn how to create innovations out of everyday objects.
Hi Ellington families, my name is Mrs. Naratsky and I teach first grade at Windermere. I'm here to talk you through a little bit about the engineering process and to show you a STEM activity that you can do at home with your child. In my classroom, we use a flowchart to help us with the engineering practice and the whole process. So we always start by asking questions. You can do this by going around your house and figuring out things that bother you. So in our classroom, we noticed that the headphones in our Chromebook cart, they were just dragging on the floor. And every time we went to move the Chromebook cart, they were in the way. We were worried they were going to break. So we used that problem to engineer a solution. Maybe some things around your house are your child's fort keeps falling down, or their bedroom door just won't stay open. Think of a problem, and then you can engineer a solution together. Then we go to our plan. You can get a whiteboard, or a marker, a pencil, or paper, anything to make a plan. In your plan, you're going to draw what you think that your engineering device is going to look like. Then look at the materials that you have around your house to start labeling what part of your plan could be used with what materials. Next is the fun part. You get to create it. Make sure you have lots of tape so that they can glue things together, tape things together, make sure that everything works exactly how they would like it to. Then you get to test. All great engineers test their designs to see if it works. And if it works, that's awesome. Maybe you can make it a little bit better. If it doesn't, that's okay. All great inventions start somewhere. So you can go to the redesign phase. During that phase, you can figure out what worked and leave it, and then what didn't work and maybe change it. Then it goes back to ask, because engineering never stops. You find a problem and you figure out a way to solve it. So this morning, let me tell you about my problem. I woke up and I looked outside and I thought, oh, it's so sunny. It must be so nice outside. But then my dad said, I think it's windy. Why don't you go outside and check? But I didn't want to go outside and check because I thought it was gonna be cold. And I was in my PJs. Then I thought, I wonder if I could engineer something to leave outside, like a wind detection device, so that I knew if it was windy and I wouldn't even have to go outside and check. So I had my ask. Now you're here with me to do my planning phase. For this part, I'm gonna start drawing on what I think my device might want to look like. So I'm thinking maybe something like sturdy in the middle, like a big piece of something, and then maybe I'll have something coming down because I'm gonna wanna like hold it or attach it to something. I'm thinking maybe I'll put like streamers coming off because that might blow in the wind. And it might even tell me what direction the wind's blowing. I didn't even think about that. So now I have a rough idea what my plan's gonna look like, but I gotta figure out what materials I have. So I went around my house and always ask mom, dad, grandma, or grandpa, whoever's in your house, make sure that you can use the materials that you would like. I found lots of cardboard. So have someone in your house make sure they don't throw out those boxes. You can rip them up like I did, or you can cut them up, that's up to you. I found some paper towels, some paper plates that maybe we could cut up. Definitely tape. I love using tape more so than glue because it's faster. You don't have to wait for it to dry. Tin foil is great. We can rip it apart or we can crumple it up. And then I just got a delivery with food, so this was like the insulation. So I thought maybe this would be kind of cool. So let's go back to my drawing. I'm thinking maybe this part could be like my insulation strips. So I'm just gonna label that. Then I'm thinking that this big part could be my cardboard. And then, what could be the little streamer parts? Maybe tinfoil or paper towels, or maybe both. These two on the top, maybe I'll try tinfoil here. And these two on the top could be my paper towels. Now, if while I'm engineering, I notice that I want to change something on my plan, that's okay. We can always be flexible and adjust, but this is a great start so I know what to do first. Okay, ready to start to create? I'm gonna leave my plan here just in case I forget. The first thing I need, I think I'm gonna start with my cardboard. Let's get a good, ooh, what about this piece? It's kind of squarish, we can start there. What I like to do in my classroom is rip off a big piece of tape. That way I have these little pieces available to me that I can rip off and use. Now we talked about maybe my insulation strip could go down here. We'll use some tape to make sure it stays on. We don't want it to be so windy that the whole thing just falls apart, right? So we have that, and actually go with this. Then we were going to use tinfoil for the top two. So we can just rip it. And stick it on. Okay. Then the bottom two we decided for paper towels. I think I'm going to rip mine long ways. I'm thinking maybe that will blow in the wind. Put this like this. What do you think? Looks pretty similar, but I don't know if it's gonna work. I have to go out and test it. So come on outside with me and let's see what happens. Hi Ellington families, we headed outside to test our wind detection device. You ready to see what happens? Ooh. So I noticed that this part's not really moving much, but look at the paper towel and the tinfoil. Do you see how they're moving in the wind? It's detecting the wind. But I'm wondering, since they're kind of short, what if we redesign and we attach them together so that they're even longer? It might even tell us what direction the wind is blowing. Let's head back inside to redesign. Awesome. Welcome back. So for the most part, our device worked really well. But I think what I'm going to do is make these longer, because I think the longer it is, then the more we're going to be able to see if it's windy. And it might help us figure out which direction the wind's blowing. So to redesign, I think I'm going to take the tape off like this and maybe try to make 2 of these stuck together. I know it looks really long, but I think it'll blow in the wind. Just like that. This didn't really blow much in the wind, but I'm thinking maybe I could tape it to the railing and then I can leave my wind detection device out there so I can see every morning if it's windy or not. Now, the other thing that we like to do as engineers is we think, where do we see this in the real world? So when we're driving around in our car or anything like that, when we are on the bus coming to school, where do you see a wind detection device already outside? Were you thinking a flag? I was thinking a flag. It kind of looks just like a flag. So while I go out and test my final design, it is your turn to go off and do some engineering. You can try your very own wind detection device or walk around your house, figure out a problem. Maybe there's a light in your room and it's so bright you have trouble sleeping. Engineer something to cover up that light in the nighttime, but you can open it up maybe in the daytime. Make sure that you email a picture to your teacher to show them your engineered device if you try something at home. Have a great day, Ellington family.
Wow, that is so cool. Now, Ellington friends, I know you all have the most creative minds in the entire world. So, if you create your own wind detection device or find a problem and then invent a solution, we want you to take a video showing off your inventions and email it to the email address on the screen, and we'll show your work on an upcoming episode. Speaking of showing off work, we have a really neat video to show you from our friend Jacob, who sent in this video last week showing off a book he wrote and illustrated all by himself.
I'm learning to read. This is a book that I illustrated. It's called Trying New Things.
Wow, that book looks so great, Jacob. You have to promise me, when you become famous and publish that book, you'll send me a signed copy. Now, speaking of reading, Mrs. Morgan has a really great lesson that's going to show us how to keep our reading muscles growing every day by practicing digraphs.
Hi, Mrs. Morgan here. I'm a first grade teacher at Crystal Lake School, and I am so excited to be here teaching you about digraphs today. Before we get started, I'd like everyone to show their reading muscles. Are your reading muscles growing every day? I bet they are, because I bet you're doing some awesome reading at home. And the more you read, the bigger reading muscles you have. Keep it up. For now, let's talk about digraphs. A digraph is when 2 letters stick together to make one sound. So even though there's 2 letters, they come together and they make one sound. And readers, you might find tricky words in your reading that have digraphs. And if you're writing tricky words, you might think about a digraph and the sound that it makes to help you figure out how to write that tricky word. So let's jump in and look at some of these digraphs together. We're going to learn about 3 digraphs today. There's 2 more digraphs, but today we're just going to learn about 3. So let's learn the sounds that these digraphs make. Are you ready? My first digraph is the TH digraph. Can you echo back? TH, thumb, Good. My next digraph is my CH digraph. Let's echo back. CH, chin, ch. Good. And my last digraph is the SH digraph. Let's echo back. SH, ship, sh. Excellent. So I'm going to build some words and we're going to look for the digraphs and we're going to listen for the sounds that the digraphs make in these words. Are you ready? Here we go. This is one of my favorite subjects and I bet you've been doing a lot of this at home too. Let's say the sounds together. Ready? S. Notice that my digraph is on one card because these two letters make one sound. Good. Let's look at another word. This time the digraph is going to be at the beginning of the word. Say it with me. D. Let's put it together. Thud. Good. We'll build a couple more words. You ready to build another one with me? This is one of my favorite snacks. Delicious. Let's say the sounds together. Get your mouths ready. Here we go. Ch, I, p. Put it together. Chip. Good. This digraph, the CH digraph, is at the beginning of the word. You'll notice as you're reading and writing, digraphs are at the beginning and the ends of words. All right, and the last word that we're going to build together, let's look at this one. Ready? Say the sounds with me. W, I, sh. Put it together. Wish. I wish to be back at school very soon, and I'm sure you wish that too. Good. So readers and writers, if you want to practice digraphs at home, you can do that in a creative way. I know my first grade students love to be creative in the classroom. So you can try making a digraph flower at home. And you just need a few materials. You can draw your flower or you can use construction paper. You're going to decide which digraph you want to put in your flower. And as you're reading each day, you might stop and notice a word that has a digraph. And if you notice a word that has a digraph, you can write it right on your flower petal, just like I've done here. And I filled this flower up over 2 days reading with my little guy, Everett. And every time we saw a digraph in one of the words in his books that had the SH digraph, we just added it onto the flower. And this is something you could do too at home. You could do the TH, the CH, or the SH digraph. And at the end, you'll have a beautiful digraph flower to remind you of all the words and digraphs that you've found in your reading. Keep on reading. Keep on building those reading muscles. Great job, everyone. Bye.
Wow, I can't wait to go create my own digraph flower. But for all of you at home, if you create your beautiful flowers, we want you to take a picture and send it into the show so that we can show it off in an upcoming episode. So have an adult take a picture of your amazing work and send it to the email address on the screen, and next week we'll show off your digraph flowers. Last week we saw Dr. D try to combine math and physical education with some rather hilarious results. Here's a little reminder in case you forgot.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ow. 2, 4.
So this week, Mrs. Murphy is going to show Dr. D that combining math and physical education can actually be a lot more fun and a lot less painful.
everybody, it's Mrs. Murphy here. Our first activity is we're going to do a little bit of exercising that's going to get your bodies moving and your hearts pumping. And Drew and Lindsay will be helping us out with that. While we're moving our bodies, we'll be practicing counting to 100.
Count to 100 every day. Keep your mind and body in shape. Let's get fit, have some fun. Count to 100 by ones. Get ready to exercise and count. Stretch your arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your legs. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Pump each arm up. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Do arm circles. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Shoulder shrugs. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Pump elbows back. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Do windmills. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Walk in place. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. Now jog in place. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Clap up high. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. Count to 100 every day. Keep your mind and body in shape. Let's get fit, have some fun. Count to 100 by ones.
I hope you had fun counting to 100. I'll see you soon for practicing our balancing.
Wow, so combining math and physical activity can be a lot of fun. Can you at home think of any ways that you can combine the two? Why don't you pause the video, talk to an adult in the room, and think of some ways that you can combine math and physical activity. Now we'll check in with Mrs. Murphy again later in the show because she has a really fun Toy Story balancing activity for us. Now this next segment is really important because since we've been home the last few weeks, a lot of us, myself included, have spent a lot more time in front of electronics. And when we say electronics, we mean things like the TV, computers, tablets, and Mrs. McDermott is here today to tell us why it's really important that we monitor how much time we spend with electronics.
Oh, hi kids. This is Mrs. McDermott back with another tech tip. This week, I'll be sharing my thoughts about screen time. Screen time is the time spent looking at a device. This includes devices such as an iPad, a Chromebook, a television, or even a gaming system like a Nintendo DS. Did you know that we should all limit our screen time? It's important for kids and adults to be sure we aren't spending too much time each day looking at a screen in order to keep our minds and bodies healthy. I know, you must be thinking, but Mrs. McDermott, you're a technology specialist. You don't want us to use technology or look at screens? That's not the case at all. I love technology and think it's a wonderful tool. And I know your teachers have been using technology in creative ways to help you with distance learning. But there are some things to keep in mind when you're using technology and looking at screens. Do you know what's pretty cool? Your body gives you some helpful hints when it's time to take a break from screens. If you pay attention, you'll notice your body saying, "Hey, it's time to take a break." Here are a few ways my body tells me when it's time to take a break from my screens.
When I've been looking at a screen for a long time, my eyes start to feel really heavy from being glued on the screen. For distance learning, our eyes are busy reading words, watching videos, and completing our work. When this happens, I try eye yoga.
Here are 2 eye yoga exercises you can try if your eyes are feeling tired. For the first, close your eyes and use your fingertips to gently massage your eyelids. Don't push down too hard, it should be really light. The second eye yoga exercise are eye circles. Keep your eyes open for this one and your head still, and look up with your eyes, down with your eyes, side to side. Repeat this a few times to give your eye muscles some exercise.
Another thing I notice when I've been looking at a screen or sitting at a device for a long time is my body starts to feel wiggly and it's hard to sit still. I try to take a break to move my body and get my jitters out. Try jumping jacks or dancing to your favorite song. One last way that my body tells me it's time for a break is when my brain starts to feel tired and I'm easily distracted by things around me. Ooh, what was that sound? What's for dinner tonight? What's going on this weekend? When this happens, I try to get some fresh air. I might play with my dog or read a book outside.
Since we are all doing distance learning, we are probably looking at our iPads or Chromebooks more than usual. Isn't it wonderful that we can still go to school and see our teachers and classmates because of technology? But this also means that we need to listen to our bodies as we are working. As you're working, if you feel your eyes getting heavy, your body getting wiggly, or your brain getting distracted, try out some of those activities. Since you're completing your schoolwork using screens, it is important to limit technology use and screens at other times of the day. Before I go, I have 2 challenges for you. First, brainstorm with your family a few inside activities that you like to do and a few outside activities that you like to do that don't require a screen. Write them down or ask an adult in your house to write them down for you. This way, when you take a break from technology, you have some wonderful ideas all ready to go. Here's my list. Inside, I could do a puzzle, color a picture, dance to music, or build with Legos. Outside, I could play with my dog, draw with chalk, or jump rope. That's your first challenge. Your second challenge is to have a screen-free play day, or part of a day. Since you're using devices most days for distance learning, try having a screen-free afternoon on Wellness Wednesday or a screen-free Saturday or Sunday. Talk with your family about activities that you can do to give your mind and body a rest from screens and devices. I hope you enjoyed this week's tech tip. If you'd like, send your teacher a picture of ways that you're taking breaks from technology to keep your mind and body healthy.
It's time for my favorite part of the show, because today we have a very special mystery reader for you. Now, I'm going to give you some clues. Let's see if you can figure out who our mystery reader is. Your first clue is that our mystery reader is a huge baseball fan. In fact, he loves baseball so much, he named one of his sons after a baseball park. And his favorite baseball team is the New York Yankees, and his favorite athlete of all time is Derek Jeter. Our mystery reader's mom was a school librarian, and his favorite book is Maniac McGee. Our mystery reader's favorite subject in school was math. And your final clue is our mystery reader is spending his first year as principal at Ellington at Center School. Did you guess Mr. Verderam? You're right! Here to read us a hilarious story is Mr. Verderam and his son Crosby.
Hi, Center School.
Hi, Center School. We're here to read another book today. It's called Dragons Love Tacos. Here, Crosby. Whoa. Hey, kid. Did you know that dragons love tacos? They love beef tacos,
No.
chicken tacos.
I'm gonna read this page.
Okay.
Hey, kid. Do you know dragons love tacos? Now you say it.
They love beef tacos and chicken tacos. They love really big, gigantic tacos and tiny little baby tacos. Ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna read this page. Stop.
Why do dragons love tacos?
Because I hear the smell of the crunchy crunch.
Maybe it's the smell of the sizzling pan. Maybe it's the crunch of the crispy tortillas. Maybe it's a secret. Either way, if you want to make friends with dragons, tacos are the key.
Okay.
This is a great book.
Yeah.
But wait, as much as dragons love tacos,
No, I'm doing
they hate
salsa.
spicy salsa. They don't like spicy green salsa and spicy red salsa. They cannot stand hot salsa. Whoa. Why do dragons hate spicy salsa? Well, just one drop of hot sauce makes a dragon's ears smoke. And another speck of hot pepper makes a dragon snort sparks. Spicy salsa gives dragon tummy troubles. If you want to make tacos for dragons, keep the toppings mild. Tomatoes, check. Lettuce, check. Cheese, check. Those are all good toppings for tacos.
Hi, Center School.
Hey, dragon, how do you feel about spicy tacos? Dragons love parties. They like costume parties and pool parties.
And dance parties.
And dance parties. And tiny little parties with charades. Why do dragons love parties? Maybe it's the conversation. Maybe it's the dancing. Maybe it's the laughter.
Okay.
The only thing dragons love more than parties is tacos. Taco parties. If you want to have some dragons over for a taco party, you'll need buckets of tacos.
Buckets of tacos?
The best way to judge is to get a boat and fill the boat with tacos. That's about how many tacos dragons
I
need.
didn't know it was a boat, but...
Hey, dragon, are you excited for a big taco party? Just remember, dragons do not like what?
Salsa.
Yes, they do not like salsa. Before you host your taco party, get rid of all the salsa.
In the backyard.
These dragons love your taco party. They love the music. They love the decorations. They especially love all the tacos.
Move your hand.
Congratulations. It's a good thing you got rid of all that spicy. Wait a minute. What are those little green things in the salsa? You didn't read the fine print. Dragons, listen to me. Do not eat those tacos. Those little green specks in the salsa. Those are jalapeno peppers. They are spicy. I know you love tacos, dragons, but you are not gonna love those. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Ah!
Fire!
Fire!
Fire, fire, fire!
More fire! Why would dragons help you rebuild your house? Maybe they're good Samaritans. Maybe they feel bad for wrecking it. But they destroyed your house because of the salsa. After all, dragons love tacos.
Read it again.
We're not going to read it again, but stay tuned, because next time maybe we'll read Dragons Love Tacos,
2.
the sequel.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a hilarious story. Thank you so much, Mr. Verderam and Crosby. Now, friends at Center School, you can look forward to Mr. Verderam reading you Dragons Love Tacos 2 next week. For everybody else, I highly recommend going out and finding the sequel because Dragons Love Tacos 2 is even funnier than Dragons Love Tacos 1. Now, last week in our math lesson, Dr. D showed us that math is all around us. Today, we're going to learn how we can use different units to measure the same thing.
I can make it. Almost there. This is a hill. Not so bad.
Yeah, it's been 20 minutes. Dad, I'm thirsty.
Yeah, me too. Hey, look, sign for lemonade. 10 feet ahead.
10 feet? Whose feet?
Hey kids, did you know you can use 2 different units to measure the same object or length of an object? Here, we're going to use my feet to measure the next distance. And then we're going to use Eddie's feet to measure that same distance, and we'll compare their size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half. It took me 11 and a half steps.
Wow, that was interesting. We all started at the same place and ended at the same place. Yet it took Eddie 15 steps. Mrs. Varga, it took you 11 and a half steps. Me, it only took me 10. Kids, why do you think that is?
Lemonade for sale. Fresh lemonade.
Bye, Mrs. Varga. Man, that was some great lemonade.
Yeah, all this math is making me hungry.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I'm just thinking of it. There's a great pizza stand down the road. Let's go.
All right.
Come on, kids.
Oh man, there's a long line.
Yeah, but you know what? This pizza's great. It's going to be worth the wait.
Pizza for sale, only $1. I would like to buy a piece of pizza for $1.
I will pay with 4 quarters. Each one is worth 25 cents. 25, 50, 75, $1. Thank you.
I would like to buy a piece of pizza for $1. I will pay with dimes. Each one is worth 10 cents. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $1. Thank you.
Whoa, so many ways to make $1. How will you pay? Bye! Dad,
Yeah?
I'm so cold.
I think we took a wrong turn.
Can we use math to get out of this?
Great question, son. No.
Have you ever tried to do something and lost your balance? Having good balance is really important for lots of sports and activities. So here to help us get better at balancing is Mrs. Murphy with a great balancing lesson and a really fun Toy Story activity.
Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Murphy and my son Drew. Hi. We are back and we're here to do some fun things with balancing. Balancing is super important because you need it to walk and do most activities in your life. And when you balance, you need to make your muscles tight because you need to be still like a statue if we're doing static balancing. So that takes, in order to balance and be good at balancing, it takes both strength with your muscles and it also takes flexibility, which is the ability of your muscles to move and bend in a big range of motion. So we are going to practice a few balances and then we're going to play a game called Andy's Coming from Toy Story. So let's practice a few balances before we begin. The first balance that Drew and I will do is just simple. It's very simple and it's sitting on the ground and we're going to be still. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This balance takes more flexibility. Next balance we're going to do is we are going to put our front foot open and bend it, and our back leg we're going to turn our foot to the side. We're going to lean forward and we're going to put one arm forward and one arm back. And if you really stretch and lean, ready Drew, we're going to try to hold this still for 5 seconds. Ready? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drew, do you think that took more flexibility or strength? Strength. Yes, you are correct. All right, let's try the next 2. These balances are a little bit trickier because they are on one base of support. So you really got to use your muscles to stay tight. And the first one, you want to take your time. You want to get just on one leg. That's all you got to do. You can pick your leg and you're going to slowly bring your arms up to the sky. I'm going to turn my leg out. Drew's going to keep his leg forward. 5, 4, try not to wiggle. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Nice job, Drew. The next one, we're going to lean forward, and what we're going to do is we're going to be on one leg, put our arms out, keep your head up, and try to find a spot. 5, 4, try not to wiggle. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Nice job, Drew. The next one, we're going to lean forward, and what we're going to do is we're going to be on one leg, put our arms out, keep your head up, and try to find a spot maybe ahead of you that helps you focus. And then lean forward just as much as you can to be comfortable and safe. We're going to hold it. 5, 4, try not to wiggle. 3, 2, 1, and down. That was a little trickier because, again, that's one base of support. The next balances we are going to try are... Okay, we're going to try one with 3 bases of support and one with 4. So Drew and I are both going to try the one with 3 bases of support. You want to try that? All right, so we're going to go on our side, put our feet down, go up onto our arm, and we're going to raise our other arm up. Ready? Go. 5, 4, try not to wiggle. 3, 2, 1, and down. And then the next one, we're going to make like a table, but a backwards table. We're going to lift our belly up, and we're going to hold it. Ready? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. All right. And the next 2 balances are inverted. An inverted balance is, we're used to walking upright, but when we are inverted, we are more upside down. So that can be a little bit trickier. So the first inverted balance we are going to do, we are going to go down and balance just like this. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold that, Drew. I want to point out that Drew is on 1, 2, 3, 4 bases of support. The next one we're going to do, Drew's going to lift his leg and only be on 3 bases of support. Go ahead, Drew. Ready? Try to hold that for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3 bases of support. 4, 5, and down. Awesome, Drew. There was barely any wiggling. So the last one's Drew. Go get your stuffed animals. We are going to each take 2 things to balance. Which one would you like, those 2? Okay. So you need 2 objects. It can be anything. It can be a book. It could be a pillow. We're going to use some animals, and you're going to find a way to balance those objects without moving. So Drew, go ahead, pick your balance. I'm going to put mine, I think, two on my back. Drew's going to do, let's see, one on his foot maybe, one on his head. All right, tell me when you're ready to balance. Ready? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, I think we're ready to play Andy's Coming. So, Andy's Coming is from the movie Toy Story. So hopefully a lot of you have seen that movie out there. In Toy Story, Andy is the little boy, and he has a ton of cool toys. Now, whenever Andy leaves the room, the toys magically come to life. So, but when Andy comes back, they freeze and they're still and they're not moving. So when you hear me say, Andy's coming, you're going to be frozen. And you're going to try to hold that for 5 seconds without moving. Like I tell my students, try not to even move your eyeballs. You want to be as still as possible. All right? Here we go. Let's play. We can put the animals down for now. All right, ready? Andy's coming. Quickly, quick, quick, quick. Find a pose. Ready? Here he comes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Awesome job, Drew. All right, I'm going to pretend I'm Andy and Drew will be the toy. All right, so shake it out, everybody. Think of maybe a toy that you're going to be. Maybe you're Buzz Lightyear, maybe you're Woody, maybe you're the Barbie, maybe you're the Slinky Dog. So here we go. Ready, Drew? Think of a pose in your head. Think of a balance that you're going to do next. Andy's coming. Hurry, hurry, get in a pose. All right, here he comes.
5, 4, 3,
I'm going to make sure Drew's not moving.
1.
Awesome job, Drew. All right, everybody at home, shake it out. In your head, kind of think of, we're going to play 3 more times. Try to think of another pose you're going to do. It's going to be a one balance. Is it going to be on 2 bases of support, 1 base of support, 3 bases of support? All right, here we go. Andy's coming. Quickly, quickly. Here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
He's on 1 base of support. Nice job, nice job. You just made it. All right, now we have 2 more times. Maybe we're gonna get 1 thing to balance with this time. So think of your balance in your head, Drew. Think of your balance, everybody at home. Get ready. You have to be still like a statue. Ready? All right, here we go. Andy's coming. Here he comes. Ready?
5,
I got
4, 3, 2, 1.
Frozen. Let's check it out. Yep, good to go. All right, last one, Drew. I think I'm gonna pile three dogs on you. You ready? You find a base, you find a balance. All right, everybody at home, ready? Last time. Think of something in your head. One of your balances you're gonna do. Is it gonna be inverted, upside down? All right, here we go. Andy's coming. Ready? Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Still like a statue. All right, nice going, Drew. All right, everybody at home, I hope you've had fun playing Andy's Coming from Toy Story, and I hope you learned a lot about balancing. Remember, it's really important to balance. You need it in everything you do. Every time you are walking, every time you are running, jumping, skipping, hopping, you need balance or you'll fall over. So keep those muscles strong, work on that flexibility of your muscles and stretch. And I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you soon.
Wow, that was a lot of fun. How did you do at home? Were you able to keep your balance? Feel free to watch this back as many times as you want until you've become a balancing master. Now, we all know that distance learning can be a lot of fun, but sometimes it's easy to feel like we're not connected to our friends and teachers. Here to read us a story showing us just how connected we all are is Mrs. Klein reading us The Invisible String.
Hello, Ellington families. My name is Robin Klein, and I'm here today to share with you one of my favorite picture books. The name of this book is The Invisible String by Patrice Karst, illustrated by Jeff Stevenson. I do have permission from both the author and the publisher to share this read-aloud book, Little Brown Books for Young Readers. Before I get started, I want you to find a spot to get comfortable in as I read. It might be to snuggle up with Mom and Dad on the couch or with Grandma and Grandpa. It might be your favorite recliner or a rocking chair, or maybe you have your own favorite little chair that you read in or spot that you read in. Maybe you'd like to bring a stuffed animal with you. When I was a little girl, I used to read to my cat. Take just a minute. I'll wait for you. Okay, are you ready? I'm in my comfy chair. I have Mr. Bear with me to keep me company, and I have my book, The Invisible String. This story is perfect for us and everything that we're going through in our community today. It reminds us that even though we can't go to school or we can't hang out with our friends or see our families as much as we used to, we can stay all connected by our invisible strings and the love in our hearts. The Invisible String, written by Patrice Karst and illustrated by Jeff Stevenson. The Invisible String, dedicated to the children of the world and the magic of their strings. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "We want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know we're always together no matter what. But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. "I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked. "She sure does," said Mom. "And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Liza. "Best friends too." "How far can the string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mom said. "Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," Mom said, "even there." "Or a mountain climber?" "Even there." "A ballerina in France?" "Even there." "A jungle explorer?" "Even there." "How about an astronaut out in space?" "Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" "Yes, even there." "Does the string go away when you're mad at us?" "Never," said Mom. "Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see, or who gets to ride in the front seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed." And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, They now could clearly see no one is ever alone.
Where does your string go? Take a moment and think about your own heartstrings and who are they connected to? Why don't you pause for a minute and talk to the people who are in the room with you about all of the strings that you have. And so remember that people who love each other are always connected with an invisible string made of love. And even if you can't see it with your own eyes, you can feel it deep in your heart and know that you're always connected with the ones you love.
That was a really beautiful story. Thank you so much, Mrs. Klein. Have you ever heard the word folktale? A folktale is a story that's passed on through generations. Miss Lands is here today to combine an ancient African folktale with a really fun art project.
A spider, and I'd say he is a man, and I'd say he is a lazy one, do little as he can, yeah, do little as he can. And Nancy has a mango tree, he loves the fruit so ripe.
Buckets
he
of
cannot reach
water.
the mangoes, but he longs to have a bite. And Nancy, he is a spider. And I'd say he is a man, and I'd say he is a lazy one, do little as he can, yeah, do little as he can. So Nancy tells his friend the crow, you're beautiful.
Materials for a watercolor resist: 1 piece of paper, a white crayon or a white oil pastel, some water, a paintbrush, and watercolor paint. Get your water. You can use any kind of old can as your water jar. We're going to watercolor paint and make a resist.
You're beautiful to me. Old crow calls her friends so they can hear his laughter.
For a watercolor resist, you're going to need your white crayon or white oil pastel for your drawing. I'm going to use a yellow here so that you can see it because I'm using white paper. You could use just a simple circle to start and put a little dot in the center. Then from there, I draw some lines that radiate out to the edge of the paper. All the way. You can have as many or as little as you want. And I turn my paper as I go and I just drag my crayon. From there, to make the web for a spider, I make a little U in between those lines and I just continuously rotate all the way around. Then I move to create another layer of web. You're going to do this until you fill your whole paper with those U shapes. And remember to press down so that when I watercolor paint this, you'll be able to see those beautiful wax lines. Just U shapes, little happy face line. Your turn. Have fun. So now that I've drawn my simple lines to create simple shapes for my spider web, I'm going to begin watercolor painting. Did you know that the English were some of the first watercolor painters? Well, they were. And to remember to use a lot of water, some of the English would say to use buckets of water. You need lots and lots of water to watercolor paint. Remember to wash your brush and load it and use buckets of water. Lots of water. Spin it around. You can change colors, you can blend colors, but look at that resist happening because of the wax and the oil and the crayon or the oil pastel. It's resisting that water. Your turn. So remember, buckets of water.
Anansi. He is spider to the Ashanti people.
In Ashanti land, people love the story of Kwaku Anansi.
Time was, Anansi had 6 sons.
First son was called Sea Trouble. He had the gift of seeing trouble a long way off.
Second son was Road Builder.
Thirsty son was River Drinker.
Next son was Game Skinner.
Another son was Stone Thrower.
And the last of the sons was Cushion. He was very soft. All were good sons of Anansi.
Anansi is a spider.
One time, Anansi went a long way from home.
Far from home.
He got lost.
He fell into trouble.
Father is in danger! He knew it quickly, and he told those other sons, "Follow me!"
Off he went, making a road.
They went fast, those 6 brothers, gone to help Anansi.
Where is father now?
Fish has swallowed him.
Anansi is inside fish.
River Drinker took a big drink.
No more river.
Then Game Skinner helped Father Anansi. He split open fish.
More trouble came right then. Quick now, Stone Thrower.
The stone hit Falcon. Anansi fell through the sky. Very soft, Anansi came down.
They were very happy, that spider family.
All home again that night, Kwaku Anansi found a thing in the forest.
What is this? A great globe of light? Oh, mysterious and beautiful, I shall give it to my son, the son who rescued me. But which of the 6? Which deserves the prize? Niam, can you help me? Oh, Niam! globe of light until I can decide which sun deserves it the most. Okay.
They tried, but they could not decide.
They argued all night.
I was the one that saved him from falling into his death, and then I cursed his fault. I was the one that saw him as
Niam saw this.
The God of all things, he took the beautiful white light up into the sky.
He keeps it there for all to see.
Nancy, he is a spider. Nancy, he is a man. Nancy, he is a lazy one. Do little as he can. Yeah, do little as he can. And Nancy has a mango tree. He loves the fruit so right. He cannot reach the mango tree. He longs to have
Puppet, he's having some major tongue problems around here.
You think your puppet has tongue problems? Ew! Ew!
What can you see in this space?
You.
Okay.
Third son was River Drinker.
And you... Anansi went a long way from home.
Learning about cultures from around the world can be a lot of fun. So thank you very much, Miss Lands. Now, friends, I'm afraid we're at the end of our show. I know, I can't believe it. It went by so fast, but I know I learned a lot today. And I think we should bring Mr. Hendrickson back one more time to remind us about everything we learned about. Hey, Mr. Hendrickson.
Mr. Spada, good to see you again. How are you?
We're doing great. It's great to see you again. Do you think you could take a second and kind of walk us through what we learned?
Absolutely. And what an amazing show. Just fascinating. Always so much to learn in school. And we're happy to keep that learning going outside of school. So today, let's review. We learned about how to make a wind detection device out of everyday objects, and that we can solve problems by using items from around the house. It was a STEM activity. We also learned how to keep our reading muscles strong by learning about digraphs like TH, CH, and SH. Those are tricky. We did a fun activity that combined exercise and counting. We learned why it's important to monitor how long we're in front of our electronic devices. Mr. Verderam read us a story about dragons and tacos. We learned how to use different units to measure the same thing in a new math adventure. We learned the importance of having good balance and then played a fun Toy Story game. We read a story that taught us no matter how far apart we are, we're always connected. That was a wonderful story Mrs. Klein read. And then we learned about ancient African folktale from Ghana. And we made a fun art project.
Wow, we really did learn a lot today, and you should all be very proud of yourselves. So everybody, give yourselves a big round of applause. And parents, please remember, we did include a learning guide to go along with this week's episode so that you can continue the learning beyond the show. We also included a brief survey, and if you have just 1 minute, please consider filling that out so that we can use your feedback to help mold future shows. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.